Hello everybody, I'm Christophe. So this presentation will be in French-Glish. I don't speak English from Oxford, or I don't have the accent from British native people. But for today we're going to talk about eVault and all the business opportunities that this kind of product could bring to our organization. Okay. So in first section of our presentation, we'll see what are the current market trend and business driver that will accelerate the needs for such kind of product. Then we're going to see into detail what is an eVault, or also called digital archive component or digital safe. And we'll see afterwards what are the benefits for you, channel partner of PFU, to sell this kind of technology to your customers. And at the end, we'll share some tips on how to implement such kind of solution should you decide to promote eVault to your customer. Dubai underwater. Who could have imagined that? I guess nobody in that room. Who could have predicted that Dubai will be flooded at some point? But it happened. It happened, and if we can take only one positive aspect of climate change, it will bring us some business. This is the only positive aspect that climate change will bring to us. But if we can think about that, more and more companies will suffer in the near future, unfortunately, from hazards and natural disaster, fire, earthquake, flooding. They are everywhere. And this will urge our customer to look for solutions to preserve their information. Because paper information are at the heart of companies. They are the key, the DNA of the company. And preserving information is really important. So company will look for solutions to digitize their archive and keep those archives for the long run. But not only against hazard, also against security breaches. You know that more than 80% of cyber attacks are coming from the inside. Think about that. You all know a customer of yours that has archives like payrolls of financial information into filing cabinets that are not protected. Customer will need to protect their data. And for that reason, there will be a strong market need for solution to safeguard information from those hazards. Think about the price per square meter or the price per square foot. It's increasing over time in every cities, major cities, but also small cities. And more companies are looking to invest into solutions to free their storage room and transform those storage rooms into office room. So more and more you will be asked by your customer, do you have a solution to free my archive room, and give me opportunity to free space and once again maximize office spaces. So once again, this is another driver that will be key for us. Also another one, there will be more and more regulation coming around data preservation. At this point of time, whatever you are, there are different regulations for how to protect data, how to keep data, and what we call a proof of evidence of original paper document. But more and more, when we will advance over time, the information, the regulation, and all the standards will become unified, and we will have more standards that will enable us to guide our customer and say, this is the way we should scan data and preserve those data over time. And today, we are also very proud to announce that PFU is taking part to ISO standard committee, which is working right now on defining what will be the guidelines and the technical specification for protecting data over the long term, and especially around metadata, but also about digital storage components. So we have today 3 members of our staff, and one of them is here. Alexander, maybe you can... He's taking a break. But Alexander is here, is from the German team, and is one of the 3 members of PFU that is taking part to this ISO standard committee that will shape the future of digital storage component. And hopefully, by 2025, there will be an ISO standard that will be available and that will guide you and your customer on how to preserve data in a digital storage component. So this is a strong, really, market driver, and hopefully, if things go well, because there are different stages in publishing an ISO standard, there is a lot of meeting of approval needed, but if it goes well, and at this time it's going well, there will be a standard for digital storage component. And this is why all market forecasts are converging toward the same goal and the same result. The market for digital storage and eVault will rise significantly. So you can see here a breakdown per geography of what are the market perspective, but really there are big opportunity for us and for you guys to go into this market and develop your revenue and your business with your customer just around what we call digital storage or eVault. And the solution for helping our customer to preserve information for the long run is what we call eVault. eVault or digital safe or a digital storage component. And most of the time, this solution is a software solution that sits in a cloud, because for security reasons, it's better to have this solution hosted in an ISO 9001 environment. And with this kind of solution, you will be able to offer to your customer a powerful tool to maintain and keep data for the long run, and make it secured and accessible anywhere, anytime. So now let's see into detail what is an eVault. So first, the eVault is to preserve information for the long run. Make sure that the information that will be stored into an eVault will be kept and not modified. And that's what we call data integrity. It's very key to make sure that once we scan document into an eVault, this data will be not modified. And I will come later on to details about what are the technology available to ensure that. But those are 2 key fundamentals: making sure the data is preserved and keep integral. And also, around an eVault, there should be audit trail features. Make sure that we trace every action that happened on a document, making sure that we know who has accessed a document, who has downloaded a document, who has stored a document. And obviously, preserving information requires strong security mechanism. This is why in eVault we have lots of features like encryption, 2FA for authentication, and other security protocols that are needed to protect the data from any breaches of any hazard that could come up. And also making sure that the documents can be shared whenever needed, because at some point we need to retrieve information and share. Could be for financial case or legal case, or just for general search reason. So the eVault should be also able to offer an access anywhere, anytime to information. In this slide, you can find the difference in terms of features between a standard file server, a document management system, and an eVault. Whether the file server is mainly a storage component where you can easily store and access information, the document management will offer more features like collaboration tool, for instance, workflow to approve document, or electronic form to make some survey, for instance. But a document management solution is not an eVault in the standard ISO standard as we work on it, because it lacks some key features that an eVault will provide. And one of them is the mechanisms for ensuring document integrity, which is called hashing. Hashing is like taking the DNA of a document when you store a document and you compare it with the hash when you exit the document. And if the two hash match, then it means that the document has not been modified. So this is one of the key security features we need into an eVault to make sure that the document has not been modified during storage. Then obviously audit trail and logging, making sure we trace all information when the document is stored. And also backup and redundancy, making sure that the information is protected against any disaster, and we can keep this information for 10 years, 30 years, 50 years, 15 years if we need it. So if you really want to go into eVault and selling eVault, make sure that the solution you will promote has those key features on top of a traditional document management solution, for instance. And you can offer multiple benefits to your customer as an eVault. Obviously, document preservation, making sure that information will be kept for the future, security and confidentiality, integrity, but also compliance with existing standards and future standards, and also, obviously, space saving, because you can scan the information and store it electronically. So there will be always the question about, should I keep the original paper document when I store it into an eVault, or will I be able to shred this information and destroy the original paper document? So there are various standards existing, but today, in most of the case, we should keep the original paper document, because it has not the legal proof. But things are working progressively, and in fewer times, we will have guidelines that will be able to share with our customer to say, okay, if you scan this document this way and store it into an eVault, then you'll be able to destroy the original paper document. And for instance, in France, you can already do so for non-important document. If you have a multi-million contract that is paper-based, it is advisable to keep it as a paper-based document. But if you have, payrolls for your employee or invoice which are less than 10,000 euros, you could destroy it and provide the original, electronic format as an original document. So it depends. But things will evolve. And at some point, I'm sure we'll be able to destroy all the paper documents and keep the original, the electronic format as a certified copy. So talking about exciting future ahead is exactly what eVault is. Because if you think about it, eVault is a nice product to add to your catalog. It does not require a lot of consultancy unless document management solution, because if you want to implement a document management solution at your customer, you need some pre-sales and consultant guy who will need to study the workflow, the business process of your customer, and how to move it from a paperless to a paperless environment. But here, for document preservation, it's quite easy. You scan, you store for the long term. You don't need to have a high level of consultancy. So it's really a nice product to add to your catalog. And obviously, an eVault is a SaaS product, so it will enable you to charge your customer and get recurring revenue on a monthly or yearly basis. So it's quite nice also to build a recurrent revenue stream. And also you have a long-term relationship with your customer, because once your customers has trusted you as your eVault solution provider, they will keep you for the long term, because you are the archive, you manage their archive for the long term. So there are multiple reasons for you guys to go for this kind of product. And if you think about it, document scanner, and especially Ricoh scanner, are the ideal fit with an eVault, because think about all the volumes of paper document that sits in archive rooms and you need to scan. And scanning into an eVault is a really seamless operation. You don't need, as I said, high consultancy. It's pretty straightforward. You don't even need to have IDP solution like document capture and extraction, because you can bulk scan and store in a eVault. The customer probably will need to determine which type of document it is, HR, invoice, or whatever, but you don't need to extract all the metadata that are on a document. So it's quite nice and easy to sell those type of solution. And obviously, we will be able to offer a solution for your customers so that they can safeguard their information for the long term. And at PFU, we really would like to support you in promoting such kind of solution to your customers. So if you think about all the documents that are sitting in archive rooms, like HR records, customer records, financial records, or even patient or student records, those information that are on paper can be easily scanned either with our front desk scanners or our large volume scanners, and then be managed and captured by our solution paper stream or whatever solution you want to use for document capture, and then straight being archived into an eVault where you will be able to perform long-time document archiving. And once again, with selling some small professional services to your customers. So we have really here a nice and easy solution to push to customers in order to fulfill their needs for document preservation. Some tips in order to manage document preservation. So the first one is, I would advise you, is really to conduct some small survey with your customer to determine which kind of paper-based record they have to store. So whether it's HR or financial. And once you have understand those documents, is really to go into the scanning phase where you will either do some on-site scanning or off-site scanning, depending on the volume and the need from your customers, and making sure you have an high-quality reproduction of records, because this is key in document archiving. Having a high quality of records is what really is required. And then, obviously, make sure this solution is integrated with the solution, with the customer backend system. And depending where you are from, depending on your country regulation and standard, making sure that the solution you will implement is certified or is compliant with what the market is asking. For instance, in France, if you want to implement such kind of solution, you need 2 certifications. One will be on the product itself, so the eVault will have to be certified according to a specific standard. But the other part is on the service side. You also have to be certified as a provider to make sure that the service you will offer to your customer is matching some guidelines. So for instance, you have to document what you are doing and to have some periodic proof of the documents you are scanning into the eVault. So every 2 or 3 months, for instance, you will have to assign somebody and say, okay, compare the original paper document and the electronic copy, make sure they match from a color size, from a font size, and then document it. And once you have done that, you are what we call true copy certified, and you can afford to destroy the original paper document. But that is what happened in France. I'm sure in Germany, in Spain, here in UAE, it's completely different. So make sure you know what are the standards and the rules, and make sure to comply with those rules. But to keep it safe, make sure also that you are not telling wrong stuff to your customer, that they can destroy the original paper document. And last but not least, make sure that the customer are trained and you are able to support your customer for the long run. Make sure that the people who will digitize documents that will use the eVault as a storage component are fully trained and are aware about all the operation needed to perform the right document archiving. So, to conclude this session, I will say that we have a really exciting future ahead because there are tons of archives to be stored and digitized. There will be more and more customers asking for such kind of solution due to the market driver and business trends I share with you at the beginning of this presentation. Obviously, the nice fit is between scanners and eVault. They are the perfect match. There is nothing better than those two types of solutions working together. That's, for me, the most obvious way to sell solution, the most obvious and easy way to sell solution to customers, because they are easy to implement, easy to sell, and every customer needs this kind of solution. And that if you sell eVault or document preservation technology to your customer, that does not mean he should need a document management system, because document management solution and eVault can stand together. And they can be part of the same solution, but they can be also two different solutions. Once again, eVault is for storing information for the long run. Once you store information, you don't access this information unless you need to. And document management is where you need to collaborate on content, to approve content, to access documents from your mobile device. But they can work in parallel, and they should work in parallel. But if you are struggling to sell document management solution, it will be much more easier for you guys to sell eVault, because this is, once again, really simple. So, preserving the past is not a duty, it's an opportunity, a big opportunity for you to sell more scanners, more PFU RICO scanners, either desktop scanners or large volume scanners. And it's an opportunity also for you to sell software solution, to make recurrent revenues on software sales, not only for 1 year, but for many years to come, because you will be preserving the data of your customer for the next year to come. eVault is something new, and PFU is, as I said, part of the ISO committee and is currently working on the ISO future standard of eVault, and we will be able to give you some advice, some recommendation, but also to bring you some technology. Today, there are existing ISV partners that sits next door, like OpenB, DocuWare, Hello, NVSoft, and others. I don't name it, but they are all there to show you how to preserve data. And they have the existing technology available for you and your customer to make it happen. So you should talk to those guys and see a demonstration how it works to scan paper document with a PFU scanner into an eVault and what an eVault look like. And hopefully together we'll be able to preserve the information of our customer for the long term and get an exciting future ahead. Thank you very much for your time.